me and Tom, it's on. We are here. We are here. What's up? It's your boy, the Coach. Welcome back to the Coach's Huddle with the Phil Beats family. And we got another one. It's the Faithful Review. You know who it is. It's my man, Tom Jensen. And you know, usually it's me and you, Tom, all the way to the end. But this is a different tone of the show. Things are different. Okay? Because me and you have been going back and forth, all right? It's on! It's on, Tom!
Rock'em sock'em robots.
Get it together, all right? Get it together because it's on. Look, last show that you and I had, I led with the conversation of what we were going to do at the first round pick, and it came to me that the Niners needed an edge. All right? The Niners needed an edge. And this is my methodology, okay? Hear me out. We need an edge because we need depth at the position, all right? Now, if I'm being fair, I did not call Bryce Huff retiring before I said we needed an edge. That counts. However, I understood that that was literally the last barrel of the bucket group that we had on our team last year as far as rankings in the NFL, where we stood up against the rest of the NFL and our contemporaries as far as the pass rush, going to get the quarterback and pressures on the quarterback. Dead last. Absolutely dead last. Trash. Okay? Yep. And with that said, it was not just going to be able to get one fix with I mean, I like Mikael Williams. I think C.J. West and Alfred Collins, they have a bright road ahead of them. But that's not enough for what we truly have lost. Not only what we've lost, but how our team is built. This team, these coaches, John, the GM, they've all been bullish on how the team is built from the inside out with that front seven. They prioritize it in all three phases of their team via free agency, draft picks, and contracts. And we just are far from what we used to be, right? When we're talking about the Niners being able to go get the quarterback and be able to just tilt the entire game with being able to do two things that I believe control every game, which is being able to stop the run and going to get the quarterback, particularly with four. If you could do it with four, you're cooking. That's half the battle. That's half the battle.
And that's what Lynch is sold on because that's what he won with in Tampa.
Yes. So that was my methodology. That was my thinking around this. On top of the fact of attrition. I know we're talking about Trent Williams. The squeaky wheel gets the oil. I understand. Trent Williams wants more money. He wants guaranteed money. And we're trying to figure out, all right, what are we going to do at left tackle? And that is a conversation worth its weight in gold. Everybody, that conversation deserves its own show, damn near.
Yeah.
However, what are we going to do after Nick Bosa? Okay, that's a real question. All right, and we had to be number 2 overall to get a Nick Bosa. So hopefully, when you get remotely close to being able to replicate any talent that he has, being able to at least soften the blow, maybe throw a lot of numbers at it, by committee, you can do that. And I believe that that's where the Niners wanted to go. Also with John Lynch saying, hey, I want to be able to get an edge. I think the Niners, we still need somebody else. The versatility of Mikael Williams can be activated with a pure edge, right? Also, bringing in Osa Odighizuwa, being able to have him push the pocket from the inside, having another edge out there coming in waves, that absolutely helps us. So I'm sold on edge. Now, did I pick the wrong player? Maybe. All right. Okay. All right.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Position,
all right. So yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Player,
yes.
no.
I screwed up. So look, Yes, I screwed up on Keldrick Falk. Keldrick Falk, in my opinion, I had to sit down and just do a deep dive of what do I think are first round pick players in this draft, right? Yeah. And I think that Keldrick Falk is like a fringe first round pick guy, if I'm being nice.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, that's generous.
Yeah, if I'm being generous. So I've recalibrated. Okay. I'm not gonna go on with going with names and getting into prospects. But
well, we can do that. But yeah,
we're gonna do that first. But I just wanted to kick it to you.
Okay.
Are you sold that the Niners finally need to go edge at 27? What do you say?
I'm gonna surprise you and everybody and say you're absolutely right.
No way.
That's what they should do based on what they've got in-house now. And part of that to me is Odigizua, that you've got someone that optimizes Nick Bosa. You need to optimize Odigizua too, so that anybody who isn't doubled thrives. And that mandates having an edge that can actually get to the passer. So that's how it all has to come together. But they still need to be careful about how they do this. You know, it can't be somebody that stops the run and hopefully becomes a pass rusher. No. You pick somebody. This isn't Saleh doing the picking now. It's Raheem. Raheem wants speed, length, explosion, hands, production, all of that. Saleh wants run defense first. He doesn't care about the pass rushing. Raheem doesn't. 2 first-round picks last year, both under 250. Both great athletes, both speed, both high production. That's who he's looking at. I don't think he can go to 40 players in this draft. They're not here. They're not first-round talents. But the guys who are run defense first and hopefully maybe someday, one day, pass rush, no. They are not going to be an option for them at 27. So that's the way I look at it, is that because they added Odigizua and because they still don't have anybody that they've added in free agency, it's a must. They've got to do edge. Wide receiver, they got Kirk, and they can get talent at 58. Edge, you need to get the top of the market as opposed to guys that you're settling for at 58, hoping they fall to you. No, go get your guy. So I think that's what they're going to do. 27, edge.
All right. So let's get right into it. If we both agree that they're going to go edge at 27, which I believe they're going to do that as well. I like how you broke down what type of edge or athlete that they're going to go after by way of Raheem Morris being the de facto pick right here. He's going to make the pick. So this is where I'm stuck, Tom. What you're saying is that you don't want a guy that, masters in run blocking and setting the edge and minors in pass rush, right? So you want to get a guy there. Now, for me, there's nobody that's a top end edge in the first round that has that type of the size, which is your 250 tweener, right?
Yeah. This draft doesn't have that until the second.
Yeah.
So if you're going first, you're going to have to add a little more weight. But you still want to aim toward a pass rusher first, not a run defender, which means your boy Zion Young, no.
I love Zion Young.
No.
Why, man? Why?
Bagless.
Why?
Bagless.
Explain yourself.
He has no pass rush moves. You can't say,
hold on.
For the second year in a row, we're going to take this run defender first, who hopefully someday, maybe one day, can develop a pass rush arsenal. You need a pass rusher.
He's got
first.
Good.
First.
I'm going to my notes. Okay. First of all, I got you. He will strongly the run. He is nasty at stopping the run. Okay. Yeah. All right. He has prototype size. All right. We're talking 6'5", 265, possibly 270. Okay. Motor for days. So he's got the pass rusher motor. All right. He's got a motor. Relentless pursuit. One thing that I like about him as far as being able to build off of his pass rush is that he's got really good hands. All right. He's got a polished swim move. His rip is effective. All right. And he started adding a spin move near the end of his career. All right. Selling speed first. I'm telling you, this is somebody that you can't, because what we're talking about is not on the menu, Tom. There is no pass rush specialist that is in that 6'2 to 6'4 range, that's 240 to 250 pounds, that is worth a first-round pick at 27. Wow. It doesn't exist.
Agreed. But you can still
So
get
what
a
are they?
pass
So
rush.
are you saying that we're going to reach at 27?
No, I'm saying that they're going to take a pass rusher first who weighs over 250 because the draft only provides that. And who is that? Here's surprise number 2. The best player, guy you love, Malachi Lawrence. And,
I love Malachi Lawrence.
Right. And
finally, you agree with me.
Yes. On him, yes. Zion Young, not a chance. So, Malachi Lawrence, let's go to Dane Brugler Today, Athletic Podcast.
All right.
He says, the red hot name to watch is Malachi Lawrence. I would not be surprised at all if he gets into the top 30, top 25.
Look.
He says he's the hot name and he's rising fast. There's some mocks. There was an NBC Sports mock today that had Lawrence at 31. And, Brugler saying this leads me to believe that his next mock is going to have Malachi Lawrence somewhere between 25 and 27. And so if you look through and who's going to take an edge late around where the Niners pick, it's Detroit, mid to late first round, Chicago, Niners. And so can Malachi Lawrence slip through those two to get to them? If so, he should be the pick. He's got everything you want. He's got speed, hands, arms, pass rush, bag for days.
Bag.
Production. He's got everything Raheem wants. Length. All of it. And so
explosive first step.
And explosive. So Kasarik signs off and says, okay, I'm good. Because Lawrence was great at the combine, didn't he? He did very well in the testing. So
he snapped.
He's the guy. He's the one. And if he's gone, then I think that they can still step back and say, okay, TJ Parker from Clemson is another one.
I don't like TJ Parker.
Similar, but not as good as Malachi Lawrence. But he's got a lot of what Raheem likes in terms of the physical profile and a good closer and a good run stuffer. He's okay. The other one that they've looked at and talked to at Indy was Akeem Mesidor, the
Miami
from Miami, and production was ridiculous. 67 pressures, 13 sacks, but that's because he was 24. He was winning
against children
by going against kids, and his pass rush moves were built on strength. You get to the NFL, how's that going to translate? And do you want a player who's going to start the season as a rookie at 25? I don't. You've got half a career. So I want nothing to do with Mesidor. Fortunately, he's somebody that's probably going to go maybe like 15 to 22, somewhere in there. Some people have the Chargers taking him if he falls to them, but he won't get to the Niners, fortunately. But he's somebody that they looked at. And that's an issue that I have with him in this draft is that, who have they talked to and who are they bringing in for 30 visits at edge? They've talked to Mesidor at 25. They're bringing in Romello Height at 25.
Oh.
What else are you going to do? You going to bring in Nadame Tucker at 26? Stop this.
Come on, son.
Give us youth. Your team needs to get younger. Don't draft old people too. Free agency, you don't have much of a choice. The draft, you do. Get the young guys. Get the talent. And especially to your point, the guy that can develop and take over for Bosa as the primary pass rusher going forward. So you need a guy that's 21, 22, 23. That's not Mesidor. That's not Height. That's not Tucker. Get young, get talented. And the guy that everybody's talking about, according to Brugler, is Malachi Lawrence, your guy.
I love Malachi Lawrence. The only thing about all right, so I had to say it with my chest this week. I've been staying off of Malachi Lawrence for a couple of reasons. All right. So I got a full transparency. What we love about him is off the charts. He's got a deep pass rush bag, okay? Everything, chops, swipes, rips, inside counters, all right? I mean, on top of the fact that he's got an explosive first step, so he could just blow by you, right? And with the first step, natural hip flexibility, relentless effort, all right? Good length, creates problems for tackles, combined testing confirmed rare explosiveness. I mean, everything. This is where he scares me. The run game. Bro, he
that's
gets
not what he's there for.
He gets washed out of his gap, man. Against power schemes, he gets bodied. He struggles to anchor against offensive linemen, man. When they get in his chest, double teams, forget it. They can just move him out. I don't want him to Micah Parsons. All right? Also,
here's my point.
He misses tackles, Tom. He misses
22%. 22%.
I'm just
part
being real.
Part of that's just over trusting your speed and diving at people.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you can coach him up into technique. I think Kosera can at least get him to that point of curing the missed tackle being that high. Part of that is just your game plan of how to bring somebody down. He's got to be smarter about it in his angle in pursuit. He's got to be smarter about it in where he is in terms of his height to the ground and in using his length. So I think that can be coached around. But to my point, who's making this pick? Not Saleh. There's a new sheriff in town. It's Raheem. Is Raheem going to care that he gets washed in the run game? No. He's not.
Okay.
Just as much as Saleh ignored pass rush, Raheem is going to ignore run D, especially in that role as the main pass rushing OLB edge. And he's also thinking long term that when they migrate to the 3-4, he's going to be the OLB edge where you're going to have a lot of bodies there anyway. That he gets washed out in the run game isn't going to be critical. What you need is somebody that can get to the passer now. And that optimizes everybody. That's the pass rush formula that worked. 2019, where you had Bosa and D Ford and you had Buckner. This is the new one. Buckner is now replaced by Ogidizua, and you've got Bosa and you got Lawrence. I think you're in good shape in the front four.
And then we'll get why am I not recognizing Michael Williams back in the fold too? That'd be awesome. Get some more depth. Look, I'm sitting here literally talking myself out of the guy that I like, which is unreal, unreal right now.
It's reflexive. We're talking.
It's unreal that you finally agree with me, and I can't let it go. I like Malachi Lawrence. I think that he's a can't miss guy. What I think is amazing is that he can activate his pass rush from with his hand in the dirt or standing up.
Right.
He's also a guy that can have. I've seen him do some interior stuff too. Be able to rush inside in the A and the B gaps. Look, I just think, and he's a freak. We need speed on our defense. Okay, we need somebody that. I want that dude hunting. All right, I want him hunting. I want him chasing down on the back end, like with the type of speed that Malachi Lawrence has. Those backside alleys against Seattle last year and the last game of the season, where it looked like a 4-lane highway because we did not have the speed to close down. That's null and void with a guy like Malachi Lawrence on the field. I like it. I like it. Plus athlete, he's playing right away.
Yeah.
It gives our defense teeth, and like you said, like we talked about, defensive line. You got to get specified guys to activate each other. They all can't be the same type of guy. It can't be one note. Bringing him in makes everybody better. I would love, and then now you have a real NASCAR package. You got Nick Bosa, Osa Odighizuwa, then you got Michael Williams and Malachi Lawrence on the edge. Like that's a
ouch. Those guys are going to get after it. And
Yeah.
you've got the different flavors, to your point, is that, and that's what you need in order to win in the NFL in the front four. You've got to have guys with complementary skill sets that are different, and that's
Yeah.
what happens. Bosa optimizes Odigizua, who does the same. Lawrence optimizes Michael. Thank you, Wes. Appreciate it. The judges are split.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Just
Judges are
keep
split.
talking.
Judges
All right,
are
go ahead. Go ahead, man.
I'm okay. So let's see what they think. Someone's saying if Zion Young is there at 27, take him. I'm confident enough to tell you right now, Raheem isn't going to do that. Not going to happen.
Too bulky of a player. Now that you talked about it, if you look at what Raheem Morris likes at that position, what we're talking about, that edge, that 4 down, that 3-4 edge, stand up kind of hybrid guy, or that 43 edge, Raheem would look at a guy like, now if I'm picking up what you're trying to convey to me now, Tom, Raheem would look at a guy like Zion Young as too small. He would probably say, well, 6'5", 262 for what you do as a 4-3 base end. I would use you if you were 280, 290, and then we could use as a 3-4 in, right? And I can bump you inside. But for what I need at that position on the edge, you're just not fast enough. You're not agile enough. We need more speed. Right. So, okay. So now, okay.
It fits.
Now,
you need the speed piece because it all fits to the puzzle of what Raheem wants. You have to have the collective pieces for the defense to succeed. So that edge piece needs to be speed.
All right, so let's go ahead with the backup then. So if Malachi Lawrence is not there at 27, and let's say we're still going at 27, right? We're still going at edge. I've got a backup guy. What do you think about Gabe Yakas out of Illinois?
He probably could last until 58. He's being mocked in the 60s right now. Mm-hmm. I like him. He's got a lot of production. It's just I don't think that he's got enough game for them to justify picking him at 27. He's a second-round player. I think the only other people they would consider would be Mesidor if he lasts, is somebody that they've obviously shown interest in, and T.J. Parker. I think that would be it. Those guys and Malachi. I don't think Cassius Howell would be in the equation, and he's got speed and some of the traits and all that, but part of what Raheem likes is length, and that's why you don't take the guys that have the T-Rex arms, and that's Howell, that's our Mason Thomas. They're quick, they're fast, they're great off the line, but Raheem wants length too. That's what he took last year, is that it's not just the weight. You have to look at more of the measurables than that. That's his blueprint.
Yeah, Leonard Floyd, James Prince Jr. Was it James Prince Jr.? Yeah, James Prince Jr. Jalen Walker. They all have that same long, rangy pass rusher type guys that pretty much they can get to the quarterback, but they're a hard target, right, for offensive linemen to get their hands on. These are guys that can get real slippery on the edge. They get out in space, and that's where they actually thrive because they can chase down defenders out in open space. There's really not a lot of quarterbacks that can get away from edges like that because they're striders in the open field. And with that, if you're playing inside out with your edges, not with your edges, but your D tackles, your inside, your interior linemen, they're kind of funneling everything inside anyway. So, well, all right. Well, this wasn't a topic that we were going to talk about, but where does that put Michael Williams in this equation then? Because he's not an edge. If we're looking at what Raheem Morris is, we've kind of talked ourselves into this. So is Michael Williams kind of like an interior? Is he a 3-4 end?
Probably. And I think that we have to keep the long term in mind. Michael's really young. Raheem, if he sticks around, he's going to use Michael as a 3-4 edge. And he'll have the outside linebacker edge outside of him as the pure pass rusher. Mm-hmm. And that works. Raheem's going to have a number of different fronts. It's not just going to be wide nine. It's going to be 5-man front. And I don't know if we can get 3-4 right away. I think that that's something that they're going to have to get the personnel for first. They don't have enough linebackers. They don't have enough pass rushers to make a 3-4 work right now. So I don't
They don't
think
got enough. No, they don't have enough shades. We need another shade if we're going to do that.
Well, that too. So there's a lot of things that they lack right now for why I think they can't play 3-4 yet. But he's going to want to move in that direction. And so picking Malachi Lawrence is a move in that direction. It's saying, Michael long-term, 3-4 edge. And yeah, he's going to have to bulk up. But keep in mind that Michael is so young that he's going to add a lot of weight over the next couple of years.
That's just natural. Michael is only 21 years old, so he hasn't even really developed into like his man body yet, quite frankly.
Yeah, and
so
I
right
think
now
they picked him with that in mind, that they expected him to grow.
Yeah, Michael's going to probably be naturally 290. He's going to be in that 290 range. Yeah. Man, okay. So I don't know. Can we live and die with this? Because I like the plan. I'm never going to question just a style of football, and I'm, just for the sake of arguing, I'm not going to do that. But, Raheem Morris has got to be here for a while. This is this isn't adding players. This is an inflection point, is it not? Where we're shifting in a sense.
Well, and I think that's a good thing. We need to move away from just the wide nine. This team needs to have more flexibility. And if college is producing a lot of 3-4 guys, you're going to have to adapt to the supply anyway. So I think that you make a better use of the draft by having more flexibility in your defensive fronts.
Agreed. Let's get into our next topic, man. The debate with 58, a date with 58.
Nice.
Let's go, man. It's pick 2, Tom. I've already brought up Gabe Yakis. You've smacked him down from 27 to 58. So I have essentially talked about the player that I would like to have. All right, no, I'm just playing around. Let's get into what we would like to do at round 2. Now, there's a lot of different ways the Niners can go. We can go ahead and pick up a tackle. All right. There's some tackles right here where you can put in your would-be Trent Williams replacement in round 2, stick him, hide him away, or put him in at left guard and transition him over. I think that, I don't know, at 58, the tackle market may be a little dried up there.
It's gone. Sorry to interject, and it's another thing that Brugler said today that was really a telling thing. He thinks that the market at tackle stops at 7 tackles in the first. He says there's a massive drop-off at tackle, that if you don't get your tackle in the first, don't even bother. That there's no point in taking a tackle the rest of the draft.
All right. So there's a couple of positions that I'd like to go through just at round 2. Okay. So we have interior, right? We can just go guard. I think that there's a lot of value at guard at the number 58 position. Also, one thing that keeps getting left behind in this year's draft is 2 position groups that are remarkably deep. That's linebacker and safety. Linebacker and safety for this year's draft is pretty deep. There's more safeties than there really have been ever before as far as just quality guys that you can find at the position. Safety is a weird position because some teams value it, some teams don't. We don't, right? We always draft it late. But if there was a time to fix the safety position, round 2, there's some options there as well. What I'd like to do is just kind of stick with the interior offensive line. Let's say that we're in round 2. I'd love to go Micah Morris out of Georgia. 6'5", 346, gap inside zone guard. One thing that I have a theory. Hear me out, Tom.
Okay.
We're gonna start getting inside. There's a potential for us to get inside zone and bigger guards due to the fact that Christian McCaffrey is going to start becoming an inside zone back as he gets older, right? He's not going to be able to start getting to the edges. Kyle's going to start realizing that playing outside zone with Christian is just a fait accompli. It's not, it's a fool's errand, and they're going to have to be able to get some guys that can actually push the pocket, push the line of scrimmage vertically. Yeah. That's why I looked at possibly Micah Morris out of Georgia. He's a big inside zone tackle. Inside zone guard, and I think he'd be a nasty addition to the offensive line. What do you think we should go? Any direction to 2?
I think that's possible that they could be looking at a Mauler because Christian has lost a step and because Jordan James is an inside the tackles runner too. So present and future are in that direction. But we look at Kyle's history, he isn't going to do it. No, I think that Kyle will be forced kicking and screaming into taking a Mauler. I think that he should, but I don't think that he will. At guard in the second round, you've got Chase Basanis. Yeah, Lynch was at Georgia's Pro Day. The big news out of that one was Oscar Delp ran 4.48.
And they won't let him work out.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
Which is crazy. But at his Pro Day, he got to run a 40, ran 4.48. And so now he's getting talked up as top 75, top 100. And so he's immediately going to bump up at tight end, as he should. And he was underutilized at UGA. Anyways, that was the news out of the Georgia Pro Day.
That kid can play.
Lynch was there, and there's a lot of guys to like at Georgia. Morris is one of them. They talked to Dalen Everett at Indy in the Combine, so they like him at DB. There's plenty of people they could look at that are from Georgia that would be good picks. So the other people I would look at guard would be Chase Basanis from A&M if he lasts to 58. The current projections have him going before then. Keelan Rutledge at Georgia Tech, he's also expected to go before then. And so then are they really going to go guard at 58?
Don't say his name.
In my opinion, no. So I don't think they're going to do that. I think that Kyle is going to be jumping out of his skin for a receiver. And he's going to say, we have to take a receiver at 58. That's my expectation. The word is that he likes Chris Bell. And that makes sense when he's healthy. But he's coming off an ACL in late November. He says he'll be back and ready for camp. But you look at Chris Bell when he was healthy, he's the 5th best receiver in this draft, no question. So I would be good with that. You can also look at Chris Brazel from Tennessee if you want another big guy with speed. They can also look at Jeremy Bernard from Alabama. They can also look at, they have visited with Antonio Williams at Clemson at the Combine. So I think that those would be the wide receiver targets they would be looking at 58.
Okay. For me, some guys, I think Brazel won't be there at 58.
Probably not.
The secret is out. The kid's talented. I'm afraid that the Rams are going to get him. I think that Chris Brazel is somebody that and he fits in our scheme as well. There's a lot of teams that are going to go after him. I do think that receiver is a possibility at 58. There is somebody who I want a little later. I think that we can still get some value for receiver in the 4th round. I'm going to hold off on that. But there is somebody, if we're going to go receiver, Chris Bell, or what about Zachariah Branch? Also, Ted Hurst from Georgia State. Okay. What do you think about Ted Hurst?
Ted Hurst, 10% drop rate. And so I'd be worried about that. Zachariah Branch, my issue with him is he's so small he has to be hidden. So at Georgia, 50% of his targets were screens, 60% were behind the line of scrimmage, 75% were 10 yards or less. I want a downfield receiver. I don't want that. So we'll see. But apparently, one of the things that Branch emphasized in his pro day today at Georgia was he ran a full route tree and wanted to showcase that to the league, that they didn't call this for me, but I can do it. And so we'll see if the league is convinced of that. But given his size and given that you got Brock, can he locate Branch is one of the issues. Part of the reason they got Mike Evans is because he's 6'5", and Brock can spot him. And you look at it and say, why hasn't Jacob Cowing played? In part because he's short. And Kyle doesn't want to accommodate short but fast. If he hasn't done it with Cowing, would he do it with Branch? Probably not.
Yeah, I mean, you got to pick a struggle, right? You can't have a short quarterback and then a short receiver and then the whole team is just short, right? You can't have all of these guys that are, nicks and knacks of the position, and then you don't really have a position guy out there. You just got a whole bunch of nicks and knacks. So
you got land. You can't do it.
Munchkin land. Hey, I do love Chris Bell. Just off the mere fact of his injury history alone, he's a Niner. I think we'd pick him up. But
if he's there.
Also, man, I think we're kind of cooling off. We didn't really talk about it, but let's kind of get into some linebacker. What do you think about the Niners kind of picking up a linebacker? I know that Nick Barton is in tow. We have Garrett Wallow. Tatum Bethune is coming off injury. We already bringing back the leading tackler of our defense, which is D. Winters. We understand that, Fred and Dre Greenlaw will be back. Do we have anybody that we're young and excited about that can come in right away on the roster? And would you be surprised if the Niners struck out and got a linebacker in round 2?
I would. I don't think that the linebacker is going to be there that they would draft at 58. I think that Jacob Rodriguez would already be gone. Mm-hmm. Anthony Hill would be gone. C.J. Allen would be gone. So I think that at 58, the linebackers they would look at wouldn't be there. I like the linebacker from Arizona State. I think that he's sort of a underrated gem, Elliott. There's some other guys, but I think that if they take a linebacker, I expect that it's in the 4th. I think that's going to be their catch-all for where they get the other positions. But there's a lot of people talking about this. Matt Barrows is one of them, saying that in whatever order, the first 2 picks are wide receiver and edge. And it fits with their history, and it fits with Kyle. So it makes some sense. Plus, it's something they need. Mike Evans is on a 1-year deal, basically. Kirk is on a 1-year deal. They're going to need their receiver of the future to pair with Brock. So I think that Kyle is going to want to get that guy early. Kyle is already going to be sacrificing not taking the wide receiver at 27. They're bringing in Omar Cooper for a 30 visit, but I don't think he's going to make it to 27.
Hell no.
So I think he'll look at 58, and he'll take his receiver there.
Yeah. Also, I wanted sticking with linebacker. I gotta say this. I think Sonny Styles is overrated, man.
He is.
I don't get it. I
love Reese. I don't like Styles.
I am not a big Sonny Styles guy. He's really gaunt. Like he doesn't fill out. He's not really physical at the point of attack. He's a catcher. He catches defenders. He doesn't really land a blow. He doesn't play with good pad height. He's very fast, but I think he plays extremely tall and free due to the fact that he was surrounded by 5 stars. Like, he played with a lot of good players on defense. He's fast as all get out, but I don't see it in Sonny Styles, man. I think that the league is still a man's league, and I don't get a 6'5", 240-pound linebacker. I don't understand it.
If he fills out, okay, but until then, he's a safety playing linebacker.
Literally, it's like you just added a couple of pounds on the Kyle Hamilton. Right. That's what it kind of looks like.
He could develop into that. He can put on some more pounds. He's got the frame for it, but it's still the transition, though. If you take Sonny Styles at 5, like some are saying the Giants might, I think that's an overdraft.
If the Commanders take him, I'm hearing over here, everybody is hardcore on Sonny Styles to be like their new LeVar Arrington, kind of like their next London Fletcher. And I'm like, that guy is not.
That's not him.
First of all, he's a Will. He's not a Mike.
Right.
He's a Will. Right. And everybody thinks that he's a Mike linebacker. He's not a Will. I mean, he's not a Mike. Jacob Rodriguez is a Mike. But yeah, I'm not big on him. But anyway.
No, me either. Anyway, so linebacker, I just think that the guys that would warrant taking a pick at linebacker at 58 won't be there. So they move
awesome.
on.
Let's get into our next topic. Foe. Niners are coming in with, what is it, 3 first-round picks? 3 fourth-round picks? It's 4 fourth-round. Yeah, 4 fourth-round picks. I've been saying this. We have 6 picks this year, right? We gave up our 3rd-round pick in the Osia Odighizuwa trade. All right, so we have a 1st, a 2nd, and 4 fourths. This is going to make or break the draft right here, right? You can get 1st and 2nd, all right, whatever. You can explain it away as long as it's not a reach. Everybody knows the guy's name, and you can watch his highlights, and he's like transferable. It's kind of like, oh yeah, all right, so yeah, Niners got this guy. Nobody's going to care. But these are the picks that could have us all driving up a wall, depending on who they get. Now, first of all, let's just go with approach. What do you think the Niners should be looking for as far as positions for the four picks?
I have it going center, guard, DB, safety.
So we're getting rid of. Oh, so you're going O-line, secondary. I like that, Tom. All right. So as far as centers are concerned, 4th round, give it to me. Who do you got?
Logan Jones, he ran a 4:59.20 shuttle. Kyle is going to be enamored. He's got
Logan Jones at 127.
Yeah, or just in that group. It's their read of who would go earliest. But I think he's the center they would like. I also like Trey Zune from A&M. He can play every position on the line, and he was developed by the same guys that coached once upon a time at Duke and developed Graham Barton. Those guys work with Zune. I like that coaching staff developing that kid.
Yeah. I'm a big guy of also Parker Brailsford out of Alabama.
Fast.
Yeah.
I don't know if he lasts to the 4th, though. I don't think he's going to make it to 127. If they want Brailsford, they're going to have to trade up for him. Package a couple 4s.
I like him. I think he's really fast.
Me too.
I love his speed. He gets to the second level faster than anybody that I've seen. I think he's pretty much the most agile center in the draft this year.
Yeah.
And he would really elevate our run game with having that type of speed on the interior, because it's so rare to have somebody at the point of attack to be able to move like that. So we're talking about combo blocks, scoop blocks, center pulls. Kyle loves to do that, loves that pick and hinge pass protection with sending the center on that pull on the outside. I mean, all of that stuff would look amazing with Brailsford. But yeah, I love going center there. Now, let's go ahead and get into 133. That'll be the fourth round, our second 4th round comp pick. And you got us going guard. So talk to me at guard. I have somebody that I like at guard in the 4th round. Talk to me about how you feel about Jaden Roberts.
That's my pick.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, good. I like that. See?
6'5", 335.
Alike.
That damn right. And according to some analytics that I've seen, he's the best run blocker in the class. He's had the most success, the most efficiency. He's got a 98% win rate, 2 pressures, 1 sack against. Good athlete, powerful. And I want a guy that can do run and pass, and I think that he would do both. You want that mauler in the run game, that's Jaden Roberts. That's the guy.
Yeah. One thing that I like about him, I'm a Bama guy, so I've watched him for a while. Jaden Roberts has played in a lot of different schemes. Originally brought on by Nick Saban, and this guy came out as a 4-star recruit, coming out of Texas 6A division, big time football. One thing that made him very versatile immediately, which got him on the field at Alabama, is that he was an anchor in pass protection. I mean, this guy was a wall. You could not bull rush him at all. Rarely gets walked back into the pocket. And this is something that
anchor is brilliant.
Yes, this is something he came into Alabama with, all right? And he looks good in his pads. He's 6'5", 335, all right? His initial punch is a real force. This dude beats up on D tackles, kind of like, the attitude of a defensive lineman in an offensive lineman's body, all right? He attacks defensive linemen, all right? He's got hands. His hands are violent, okay? You're talking about watching defenders' heads snapping back. His initial punch is crazy. And then also, he's got a motor. He finishes all the time, all right?
One of the things I love about him most is that his finishing is always there. This is a guy that plays every down, and he's got bricks for hands, like you said, yes. There's nothing not to like about Jaden Roberts. I think he's a ready-made pro.
Yeah, I think that we pick up Jaden Roberts and who we talked about at center. Let's say we go Jaden Roberts at 133, and at 127 we go Trey Zune. Our offensive line is fixed.
Yeah, it's set. Except for tackle long term after Trent. But
Yeah, tackle long term after Trent. We could worry about that next season, especially if we get Trent locked in.
Probably next year's draft.
Yeah,
My guy Goolsby. We'll see.
You see how easy it is just to fix the O-line? That's why it's so frustrating, Tom.
But all they have to do is act, and Kyle is just no. At some point, you have to address it, and you have to look at this and say, my running back is fading. Both of my running backs are between the tackle guys. I need a mauler. I need a phone booth guard. Here he is in the fourth. Great value. Go get him.
Yeah. Get that center, that guard, bro. We're off and running, man.
Yeah, and
We're
there's talent. That's the other thing about the fourth round that's great.
They're starters.
Is that where the fourth round is deep is where they need those picks to be. Offensive line, DB, safety, linebacker.
All right, so, hey, man, let's get back into it with your bad self. Pick 138. All right, this is our fourth round pick. What do you got for me? You said you want to go DB or safety. At defensive back, where do you want to go with that pick?
Charles Deming, Stephen F. Austin, 6'1",
That's why you my dog!
10 plus hands, 32 plus arms, 440, 140, 42 vert. He's got all the tools.
You know what this is?
47%. He's your guy too?
We got to stay out the chat.
Love it.
It's our chat. It's our chat where we start scouting, and I think that we like the same guys through osmosis because we'll be in the chat and be like, "Yo, I like this guy. I like this guy." Like,
right.
I like Demings, man. Small slow guy. This dude can run. Okay.
Yeah. Stays in phase long, and
yeah.
Raheem wants a playmaker and he wants a dog competitor. That's Demings. I mean, look at this. 9 picks, 17 PBUs career. Hello.
Yeah. Demings is the dog. Go watch that tape. That tape. It's all over YouTube as well.
He is great. I love him.
All right, but we gotta get out of fantasy land. All right. So
I think he'll be there, but there's some people that think Demings goes third, but I think he'll be there in the fourth. What I've seen usually is 150s.
If he's not there, I would not be mad at Dalen Everett out of Georgia.
Yeah, because he takes the team's best receiver, and he's got, the pedigree. Elite out of high school. He was like top 100 player out of high school, I think. And he'll always take the top guy on the other team and shut him down. He doesn't make a lot of noise. He just gets out there and gets the job done. And he's somebody that they talk to. They talk to him at Indy, so they like him. He's another possibility.
I have a quick question for you, though. All right. So, again, with these draft picks, this kind of mirrors the pick 27 conversation with not only going after edge, but the type of edge that we're going after, potentially. What does this mean for Renardo Green? Because these are boundary corners. These aren't slot guys, right? So we're talking about guys that are going to be playing with the boundary at the line. I mean, with the sideline at their back. So is Renardo Green here for the start of camp? Or are we going to move on from Renardo Green?
There's rumors that he could be dealt, but I wonder about that because how much are you really going to get? What are you going to get? If you offered Renardo Green, could you get even a fourth? Maybe. Probably a fifth. Is it worth it at that point? No. So I think what they're going to do is they're just going to have an open competition. They're going to say, okay, guys, go earn the job. And so that's going to be the draft pick, hopefully Demings. It's going to be Renardo Green, and it's going to be Nate Hobbs. And so all those guys are going to compete, and we'll see who comes out.
All right, man. Well, we're into literally the last pick of the draft. All right. Pick 139, the fourth and final pick inside of our fourth round pick. Fourth round. That's a tongue twister. Yeah. But I like the fact that we're finally going to address this, which is a deep class safety. There are a lot of good safeties. Now, if I name one of the guys that you like, just don't bat an eye, but you can come back to them. But there are a lot of safeties in the fourth round, in that fourth to third round area, that I believe it would be criminal for the Niners just to pluck one of these guys. They're all starters. They're all starting quality guys. I'm going to go with a couple of names. Keontae Scott out of Miami.
25.
Traden Stukes out of Arizona. All right, Jalen Kilgore out of South Carolina is a guy that I like. Kamari Ramsey, even though he fell a little bit, I still like him out of USC. Also, Bud Clark out of TCU is another guy that I like. Shout out to Chunder Boy. He brought Bud Clark up yesterday. Now, where do you want to go at safety? Somebody that you think can get on the field and make an impact immediately.
Bud Clark is my guy. He's the one that I've got slotted. I don't know if he's going to last to that pick. If he does, I think he's the right choice. Because what they need is somebody that's going to make great decisions in the secondary, somebody that can cover. And here's Bud Clark, 15 picks, 20 PBUs career. Gets to the ball, 441 speed. But there's other safeties that they could look at. The guy from K-State, VJ Payne, I think he's got some good skills. Jacoby Thomas in Miami, I love his urgency. The guy is always playing all out every down. And he's got great size, decent speed, good skills. I think he could help them too. But my top choice would be Bud Clark. I would love to get EMW, but I just don't think it's in the cards. I don't think they're going to do that.
No way. I think EMW is something that is realistic if you're thinking about what you want to do at first or second round pick, maybe second round pick. But I think EMW, even though I don't think that he's a lock for the first round, he definitely won't make it out of the first top half of the second round, in my opinion.
Yeah, he won't last to 58. Pat says no Halsey. You know, I like Halsey a lot. I just don't think that he fits where they pick. I think Halsey's going to be gone before 58.
Yeah. Oh, AJ Halsey is a dog as well. Now, you did LSU. Name two of those. Yeah, you named VJ Payne. You went off of VJ Payne and also Jacoby Thomas out of Miami. My only thing with those two guys is that they're box safeties, right? Yeah. And I kind of feel like we need a center fielder. So outside of Bud Clark and those guys, if there was somebody, I like Jalen Husky out of Maryland.
Okay, yeah, he's a nice player too. And another ball maker, or another playmaker that gets a lot of picks, that can make plays on the ball and is a smart player in center field. He's another good call, Coach. I'd love that pick.
Yeah.
So they've got options. That's the point, is that you get into the fourth, there's enough safety depth in this draft that you can get a quality player.
Also, I think we're going to stay away from running back in this year's draft. What do you hear about the reports on the 49ers being very high on Jordan James? I just saw that report that the 49ers they have big hopes. They have high hopes for Jordan James coming into this year. And, they think that, it's pretty much he's our de facto number 2. How do you feel about that?
I think that's okay. You know, the problem with Jordan James is that he's not a breakaway threat. He's a guy that's going to go inside and he's going to get some good yards. He's going to run really hard, run smart. He's a one-cut back like Bobby Turner wants, so he fits. And I think that if history repeats itself, when you normally have a back that gets this many touches, like CMC just did this year, usually they either get hurt or they take a steep drop in the following season. And so I think they're going to need Jordan James. And they might need a running back. If they do, one thing that's kind of flown under the radar, Jamari Taylor from UVA, they had their pro day yesterday. He met with the Niners, so they're interested in him. And he's another one-cut back and somebody that can receive the ball and had good production at Virginia. So he's on their radar. He's somebody they're looking at.
What did he run?
I don't know if he ran.
I don't mean to put you on the spot.
I don't think he ran a 40 at the combine, and I didn't see any data from Charlottesville as far as who did what, or if he even ran a 40. I mean, you got a number of people that are avoiding the 40 at both Indy and the pro day. You know, Boston at UW.
Which is very odd. I've been seeing that a lot.
Yeah. Denzel Boston, UW, didn't even run a 40 at either one. What are you doing?
Because his ass run a 4.6.
Well, I know, but on the advice of your agent, then the whole league is going to assume you're just mud slow. It
Yeah.
doesn't help you.
Yeah, he need to go ahead and get that 4-6 out the way and call it a day.
Yeah.
So we already know what it is. Let's move into our next topic, Tom. What's left on the heap? So we already have free agency. We're looking at best available. Right now, the Niners are looking like they need possibly another edge, right? Let's say if they want to go ahead and get some veteran leadership at the edge position. And possibly they could go maybe, I don't know, a DB, safety. Some of the guys that are left.
Very little left. The safety has no talent left. If you want somebody under 30 at safety, they don't exist. They're already gone. I don't think they can go safety in free agency. It's that dire. That cupboard is empty. DB, there's some, but I think that they already took Nate Hobbs. And just to get a quick thought on him, when he was a rookie, he was top 5 by PFF. He was elite. And remember that he went to Illinois and he was under the same DB coach that developed Devin Witherspoon and Kirby Joseph. He had arguably the best DB coach in the country developing, and that's why he came out as a rookie and he was so good. And I think that's what Jerry Gray saw, is he saw that foundation. And that's what he's banking on with Hobbs, is if I can get him healthy, he's got the foundation. I just need to coach him up and he can be great for us. That's what this was. This was Jerry Gray calling his shot.
So you think that this is somebody that he wanted to bring in by himself?
Yeah, this is his project. And he believes in him because he knows that he was coached up extremely well at Illinois.
All right. So right now, let's just look and see what we have left with edge rushers that are available right now. So Calais Campbell is available right now. I think that'd be something that's a little...
How old is he now? 42? 41?
He's
a miracle.
40.
It's amazing what he's doing.
He's 40, man. We also have
More
Joey
power to
Bosa.
him. Yeah.
Let's have the conversation with Joey Bosa. So, Mama Bosa has teased this 2 years in a row. Shouts out to her Instagram profile with Nick and Joey in matching Niner uniforms. And it seems as though at 31, Joey Bosa had a full, healthy year with the Buffalo Bills. One thing that I loved about all of his stats is that he has a lot of good pressures and hurries. I believe he closed with like maybe 6 or 7 sacks in the season.
Yeah.
But he had 5 forced fumbles.
Right.
And
Raheem will value that.
Is there a world where we get in Joey Bosa?
I don't think so. I think Joey is holding out for more money than the Niners are willing to pay.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking for a value add at edge that's going to be a rotational piece as opposed to a starter, especially if their thinking is edge at 27. Then I don't think that they're necessarily going to say we have to go get Joey Bosa.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, so what's their thought process? So I think Bosa would probably want more than they can pay. Jadeveon Clowney had a great year last year. He's somebody. Would he be willing to take a discount slightly? Epinesa, who you've talked about before, Hassan Reddick, Cam Jordan, who had a great year in New Orleans, and he went to Cal, so he's a local kid. Dante Fowler from the Cowboys, he had a 14% pass rush win rate last year. That's a damn good number. 3 sacks, 30 pressures. And Derek Barnett from Houston, he had 6 sacks on just 200 pass rush snaps. So he's productive within the rotational role, and that's somebody you can get for cheap. So if I had to guess, I would say that it's more on the end of Barnett and Fowler as opposed to Bosa and Clowney.
I would love to. I'm still holding out hope for Epinesa. I'd love
He'd be
to pick
nice.
him up.
He'd be nice. And he's younger of all these other guys. Epinesa's 27.
Yeah, that's why I want him. He's actually got a little bit more left in the tank. Right. Let's close it out, though. So I already went through this with Damon on the last show. And, I'd love to hear how you feel about where we stand right now. So let's grade free agency and just the overall offseason. Where would you grade the 49ers offseason thus far, and how do you feel about the moves?
I would give him a B, given that the free agent class was bad. That you have to factor in that this was a very weak, very thin free agent class. And as a result, you do what you can. You got to make lemonade. And I think that they made some great lemonade. Mike Evans, even though the highlights that we see are sideline and deep balls, he's number 3 in the league over the last 2 years in deep in breaking routes. So we don't think he goes middle, but he does. It's just that's the tape we don't see on highlights. So I think Evans was a good signing. I think Kirk is a nice hedge that if Ricky can't play, you got Kirk. You at least got an insurance policy of sorts. You got a safety net in case guys go down. That's what Kirk is there for. And he had a great playoff game against Pittsburgh last year. I mean, 8 catches, 144 yards, and a touchdown. Nice game. So you know that when you go to him, he can produce. So we'll see how he can do. But the key move is Ogidizua. That's the best move the Niners have made in years. Already, I think that he would be arguably their 3rd best defender. He's going to be that high impact. You put him behind Fred and Bosa, but that's it. I'd put him ahead of Demo. And I think that he's going to have that level of impact.
Yeah, I think Osi Odigizua is a big pickup. We're finally going to be able to get some pressure from the inside. It's going to be nice to see just all of those guys play. Fred hasn't played with a defensive tackle this effective in a long time. I agree with this one wholeheartedly. It's going to be a big move, Tom.
They have to take a step forward, and I think they are. The thing that I like is one of my philosophies. This is something I got from an advanced scout back in the day at the press box at Candlestick. You need a spine on defense. Defensive tackle, linebacker, safety. They've got the D tackle now with Ogidizua. They've got the linebacker with Fred. Now they need the safety.
Yeah. I think now would be the time to go out and get the safety. On the other hand, I feel great about the offseason and free agency. Like you said, it was slim pickings, but I also like what we did. We found a way how to not only build our depth, but get continuity. It's time for the youth movement now. We brought in all of the, usually in 2 years past, these signings will be guys that the Niners will be having to get off the bottom of the heap of free agency because we couldn't do anything in the beginning of free agency. Right? Last 2 years of free agency, dude, we had to sit back and wait our turn. We had to watch everybody eat and then come in and get the scraps. All right. And now we finally got a turn to be minimal, marginal players in free agency this year. And good for it. There wasn't a lot to put a lot of money on anyway. We already saw that a lot of different markets got put back into play. Now, everybody can't be the Raiders and paid Linderbaum what they did. But
27.
Jesus. But outside of that, the receiver market kind of came back to earth this
it had
this year.
to. That was a market correction.
Yeah. So, I feel bad for Juwan Jennings.
It's tough for Juwan, but we both said, there was like 3 weeks ago, we said, they're projecting Juwan for 22, and we both looked at each other and said, he's not getting that.
That ain't happening, right? That is not happening. So I understand where we are, and next year, doing the right thing, we're going to be even more bullish in free agency next year.
I hope so. It's a better free agent class, and I think that they'll be building some momentum in terms of where the team's at.
Yeah, and I'm not mad at it. I think that we're on track as far as being able to kind of hold continuity and respectability while we're kind of rebuilding on the low. I love it. Let's get into a couple of super chats before we get out of here, man.
Okay.
My man Trav, miss you, Trav. We are here too. Let's go. 2 months saw 33. Just wondering, are we still doing the playback TV thing or nah? Oh, nah. Playback went bankrupt. They went defunct. That was the biggest thing. I got sponsored by a company called Playback to start doing playback game shows, live watch show parties on their platform.
Oh.
And my first day setting up platform, I got a letter saying that they were going defunct on Friday. So it was awesome. Grand opening, grand closing. So Steve Lewis, 114. Tom, do you anticipate Jake Tunges being a long-term starter?
For the beginning of this season, yeah, by default. But I think it's possible that they think so highly of Tonjes, given what he did do in the time that he was on the field, that they might not go tight end in this draft. The tight end that I would want is actually UDFA, Riley Nowakowski from Indiana. He's H-back, fullback tight end. He would be the Juice replacement. His run blocking is technically perfect. I
like Jack Indries.
Indries is good too. And Delp running the 448, he's going to go. He could be tight end too with that.
I love the way you patronize my picks, man. Thank you. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're like,
I'm sorry, Coach.
Like, you like, I'd be like, yeah, man, I like Jack Indries. He'd be like, yeah, Indries is good too. I wouldn't fucking pick that. But anyway.
Okay. Let me look up some Jack Indries and see if I can get some help here.
Jack Indries is decent. I like him. 6'5", 250. He's versatile. He could do a little bit of everything. You know what I like about him? He reminds me of a Ross Dwelly type guy that he can get out in the open field, run. He's a decent blocker. I like Jack Indries.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely going to check out Riley Nowakowski.
Yeah, Nowakowski, and there's a couple other people. Who's the other guy that I like?
The kid from Georgia, Delp.
Bear with me. Well, Delp, sure. But there's also DJ Rogers from TCU. I think that people are sleeping on him. He wasn't used that much, but he's got a great contested catch rate. He got 10 missed forced tackles. He's a nice player.
Mm-hmm. I think Oscar Delp, man, it'd be sneaky if we picked him up, man, in the fourth. I'd like that.
I don't think he'll go fourth, though. Everybody after he ran that 40 is saying top 75, top. So if they wanted Delp, they'd have to take him at 58 or trade up to 75 to 100.
Steve Lewis, 114. Pearsall isn't white. He's just light-skinned. We'll see. Bill Winger's FS1 admin. Would Isaac Sapoaga survive in today's league? Yeah.
Yeah, he would. He wouldn't be great.
He'd be a guy. Yeah.
He'd be a role player.
I want Mike Upati back.
Oh, you and me both. If there was a way
Mike
to get
Upati would thrive in today's league.
Please get me Ioane. Dude's a beast.
You think they would do that at 58?
Oh, no.
He's not going to be there.
Ioane's gone by like 18.
Would you be mad if they did it at 27 if he was there?
No. Well, that would be the steal of the draft, but there's no way he lasts 27.
All right, man.
No, he's mid-first. But damn,
hey,
I'd sure love to have him, though.
What do you got for the rest of the week, Tom?
I've got a lot of writing ahead of me, and then Monday, Ashley and I get back on for our stream. And then she's heading to the owners' meetings in Scottsdale. So she'll have some info for us when that drops later in April.
That's going to be fire, man.
Cool.
Tomorrow I'm going to get with Grant. We're going to do the coaches meeting. Then we got that call-in show coming up, man. Hey, signing off. This is the coach and my man Tom. Stay low and keep your feet moving. Holla at you guys.